welcome to this week's vlog for Sophie Equestrian. I'm not gonna lie, I've been useless recently, haven't I? I think it's been about 3 weeks since I last did one, so I'm really sorry. Work has been manic, absolutely manic. I haven't even been able to ride the horses that much, it's been that crazy. But finally I've got some time to get round and do the vlog that you guys asked for. It is a training vlog this week. So since lockdown restrictions eased, I have been very fortunate to get a few training sessions in. So I suppose the benefit of this being really late is that at least you can get all the top tips from all the lessons that I've had so far. So that includes 2 jumping lessons with my youngster Freddie. I train with Michael Owen, who is based over at Kelsall Hill in Cheshire. I was about to say Shropshire, but no, that's where I live. So he's about an hour and a half away from me, but it's so worth it. The facilities are just beautiful, and we learnt lots, so I can share a few clips and a few top tips from how that went. And then I've had 3 dressage lessons with my super duper trainer Diane Breeze. She is based on the Welsh borders, and I'm very lucky that she is close enough to me to actually come and teach at my yard. So she came over and gave me 3 lessons, which meant 3 hours of dressage training, and I'm not gonna lie, I was absolutely knackered by the end of it. I think every muscle in my body hurt, but I suppose that shows that it was a good lesson, right? And yes, we learned absolutely loads. She is brilliant. I cannot recommend her thoroughly enough. Even by the time I'm on the last horse, you know, she hasn't lost concentration, she hasn't got bored. I learned something new every single time, but she's still incredibly consistent with her feedback, and hopefully it'll be really useful, because I've got 3 horses that are totally different physically, totally different mentally, and definitely all had totally unique things to work on and improve. So hopefully at least there will be one top tip or exercise that you guys might be able to take away and practice at home. So let's get going. So here we go. First lesson since lockdown began. It was also only my 2nd time jumping since lockdown, so I was definitely feeling rusty. As you can see, body armour is firmly on. I was also really quite anxious for how Freddie was going to be, having not really jumped for 3 months. We'd done lots of pole work, which definitely has paid off. But yes, I haven't taken him out. I didn't know what to expect, and I was really pleasantly surprised. He was such a good boy. When I first got on, which unfortunately I don't actually have any footage on, he was super keen. He was spooking at the banners, the construction work, and pulling my arms out a little bit, to be honest. So we warmed up just working on getting him almost a little bit over collected, so placing him as close to the fence as I could, resisting the temptation to push and rush at the fence, which is exactly what he wanted to do, and to be honest is my go-to when I'm nervous too. We did lots of walk to canter, canter to walk transitions, again just to get him listening to me. And then, as you can see here later on in the lesson, he's being really responsive, really calm and really collected. Probably what I would say is that I was playing it a little bit safe. He was keen enough that we had enough impulsion in the canter to jump from, but it was a little bit backward. He probably is a little bit overbent into the fences. As you can see, sometimes he's not even really looking at them. He's in a little world of his own, and because he's brave enough, he gets away with it. But yeah, I think looking back, I was definitely playing it a little bit safe, and something that we then worked on in our next lesson. So here we are, lesson 2, and it was my birthday. I decided to take a day off work, and what better buzz than going jumping? So that's what I decided to do. Frisky Fred had been turned out the night before, so he was definitely much calmer than our first lesson. We didn't have all the spooking at the beginning, and he was super chilled, which was great. We worked on going up a gear, so asking for a little bit more canter than the first lesson, playing it a little bit less safe, and also getting his head up and looking towards his fences, which you can see here is definitely much improved on the last time out. I still need to remember my brave pants and not to overprotect and hold him back, particularly as we start looking to jump some bigger fences. Be just a little bit foolish. I feel so drunk. I've never seen you clearer than now. We're flying high, floating somewhere up in the clouds. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real, cause when we're doing our thing, we're like wheels that won't stop turning. So take me on a trip, trip, trip. Now, trip, trip, trip. Oh, flick that switch, kill the lights. Oh, wasted. City lights are shining so bright. All these empty faces, we don't care about them tonight. We're going out of ourselves, can you feel it? Almost like I don't know if it's real, cause when we're doing our thing, we're the wheels that won't stop turning. I know we're acting stupid. And now for the dressage. So first up was youngster Freddie. We actually started working on quite a simple exercise here. So pushing him forward and collecting him back within the pace. So we spent a lot of time on his canter in this session, and boy, was it hard work. I haven't done a lot of this with him, so it was definitely new. But by the end of the session, he was really starting to understand the aid and really work lovely together. Once we'd done a little bit of this, we then also started to input, give and retake as the canter quality was improving. As you can see there on the first attempt, he actually dropped into trot, which just shows how he was leaning a little bit on my contact. But as we then worked more, I supported him a little bit more with my leg and got some really nice give and retakes, which just showed that he was in a lovely free carriage. Next step was to introduce some smaller circles. So this really helped him coordinate his legs, sit on his bum a little bit, engage his hind end, and really come up in his frame. So smaller circles like this for the younger horses are definitely quite hard work, but he's at a stage now where he's strong enough to work a little bit harder, and it really improved his canter. Again, here you can just see I'm starting to give and retake the rein, and the quality is improving all the time. He can keep his canter, he's in a lovely free carriage, and it doesn't interfere with him when I do give and retake that rein. Then the final thing we worked on at the end of the session was a few walk to canter, canter to walk transitions. I will be honest, I have not tried this with him before. It was a little bit ambitious for me, for the show jumper that he is really. But actually it was a fantastic way, again, for just working on his engagement, his responsiveness. I'm such an advocate for transitions. And by the end, he was really understanding what I was asking. And since this, I've worked a lot more on these transitions, and they're really coming together. So yeah, we were starting to get some really nice ones at the end. I was absolutely exhausted at the end of this lesson. It was the first of 3 hours, and it was boiling hot even first thing in the morning. So I was really, really pleased with him. He dealt with a lot of pressure. He worked really, really hard, and I think it's fair to say that we were both pretty sweaty by the end of it. Lots and lots of pats, lots and lots of treats for little Fred. Go a little crazy and lose it. I don't care if we don't. It's the only way we know how to do it. You make me feel so young. Round 2 was with gorgeous George. So this is my veteran, 23 years young he is this year, and he is currently working at medium level BD. I have had one of those moments where his lateral work was gaining kind of generally 6s, and I decided I really wanted to try and push for a little bit more, and as sometimes happens, all the wheels fell off, and we got ourselves in a massive pickle for a while. So I was really looking forward to this lesson to get some advice from my trainer Diane, and it has helped enormously. So we went back to basics and actually spent a lot of time on the lateral work in walk. So I did some shoulder in, then some travers, then some renvers in walk on both reins, just making sure that he was super supple, super relaxed, and really understanding the aids from the get-go. As an older horse, I think this was also a brilliant thing to do, just to make sure that he had that time to warm up correctly. Next step was to start doing the same thing in trot. So I think this is something you can work on whatever level you're working on. It doesn't matter if you're not doing it perfectly. You're not doing this for a test. You're doing this for the benefit of your horse at the end of the day. So here you can see we're working on the renvers, and I'm just trying to get him to bend and take a slightly deeper contact, so really get the base of his neck, which can be a bit stiff as an older horse, just to really loosen up and relax. Then the next stage was to go from the renvers into a leg yield, and then go back towards the track once he was bending nicely around my inside leg in a half pass. So we'd really got to a point where he was tensing up every time I asked for a half pass, and this has been such a game changer for me. It's really helped me get back on track. So here you go, the leg yield, and then going back to the track in the half pass. The benefit of doing the leg yield first from the renvers is that it meant he was really well bending through his rib cage around my outside leg. So then when it came to just changing down to the half pass, all I really had to do was keep my outside leg there, put my inside leg back, and just ask him to move across. So he didn't have the same anticipation and the same tense anticipation towards the half pass. So this has really, really helped.
I know we're acting stupid, we're being dumb, maybe just a little bit foolish, but I feel so young, just go a little crazy and lose it. I don't care if we're dumb, it's the only way we know how to do it.
And then just to finish the session, we decided to have a go at a proper half pass with no leg yield to begin with. And it just felt so much better. It's still not perfect, but he was so much more supple. The bend was much stronger than it had been, so very exciting.
It's the only way we know how to do it. Kill the lights.
So Gus was actually the one horse out of the 3 this year that I thought, if I'm really busy, he's probably going to be the one not to get out to as many pony parties as we may usually do. I almost didn't have a dressage lesson with him because I thought, you know, is it worth it? He hasn't done that much. It's a lot of money. And oh my goodness, I am so pleased that I did. Here's why. I'm not going to lie. That was take 1 and he looks so cute. Look at his little face. But you know why? I've noticed that I've still got one of his naff nibbles in my pocket, and I think he could smell it the whole way through. So obviously orientated by your tummy, aren't you? Hey? Do you want it? I can't not give it to him now, can I? Last but certainly not least was my little Gusthoff. Gus is my grassroots superstar. He's been the most amazing little event horse for me over the years. And as I say, I hadn't really thought about doing too much with him, but I'm so pleased I had this lesson because he was just a little angel. We started with a similar exercise to what we did with George. So although I didn't have any footage of this really, it's good that you can kind of see it here with Gus. So lots of time in walk, trying a little bit of shoulder in, a little bit of travers, a little bit of renvers. Again, you know, he's not experienced at these sorts of movements. He's not competing at medium like George, but it really helps supple him up, particularly as a horse with a much longer back. He's a warm blood, so totally different moving horse. It meant that when I actually got into the trot and started doing a little bit more in the trot, he was so much more swinging through his back, super supple, and he felt amazing. I wasn't expecting anything from him. I was really having the lesson because I didn't want him to miss out. But I was so pleasantly surprised at how good he felt, and it's definitely given me motivation to not forget about him and make sure that he definitely gets to some pony parties himself.
Go a little crazy and lose it. I don't care if I don't. It's the only way we know how to do it. Make me feel so young. I know we're acting stupid. Maybe just a little bit foolish. Just go a little crazy and lose it. It's the only way we know how to do it.
He has never in his life done a half pass, and I wasn't expecting to get anything anywhere even near to one, but I was really pleasantly surprised. He was really swinging and engaging his hind end, which, as I say, being a longer horse, he sometimes can drag his back end a little bit. So yeah, he felt amazing, and definitely something I'm going to keep working at now. Then we went on to the canter work. So this is where we worked on some similar things to what we did with Freddie, actually. So moving him forward in the canter and then collecting him back. And again, this was just really, really good to get him engaging his hind end and just working a little bit harder than he might naturally want to. Unlike the other two, he's not quite as sharp and responsive. He can be quite lazy and let me work very, very hard. So these sorts of exercises are a great way to make sure that I'm not the one doing all the work. And it just showed how it was really working on him, improving that responsiveness, because when it came to the simple changes, he actually really wasn't that bad. These normally are atrocious, and one of the reasons that I don't compete him at a higher level with his dressage, pure dressage, because it takes quite a long time to connect the back end and the front end normally, but he just felt amazing, and he really wasn't doing them that badly for the first attempt in probably about 12 months. So very, very exciting. Again, he worked so hard for me, and he was the last one to go. So by this point, we were really mid-morning, late morning. It was really, really hot, really sunny. And yeah, I was super proud of him. Clever Gussie. So that is it for this week's vlog. If you are still watching, oh my god, you're dedicated. Having said that, I think this started with about 4 hours worth of training footage, so it's probably why it's taken me so long to do it. But you know what, I'm actually really pleased now that I have. It's so nice to be able to watch things back. Often, you know, it kind of looks different when you watch it back to how it felt, and gives you that chance to redigest it all, which I think I've definitely really enjoyed, and hopefully you guys can take some top tips away from it too. I'm now about to start poo picking, so wish me luck. But as always, please do let me know if you enjoyed this vlog. Please like, comment below, and of course subscribe.
Oh, flick that switch, kill the lights. Oh, wasted. City lights are shining so bright. All these empty